we have a lot to get to because Will Manso is going to join us this hour. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk to him. He's at the Mike McDaniel press conference, which started about 2:15, 2:20. I did see Marcel Louis Jacques tweet out Mike McDaniel on his conversation with Stephen Ross after the game. Now, I know Stephen Ross was at the game in Carolina yesterday, and so apparently they did speak after the game. The quote from Mike McDaniel is, he was really frustrated. We talked about the challenge ahead to get ready for the Chargers, and that was really the extent of it.
It's bigger than X and O game plan to get ready for the Chargers.
I mean, I wonder if Stephen Ross said to him, so how are you preparing to get ready for the Chargers next Sunday? Or if Mike McDaniel just looked at him and said, yeah, I don't have a lot to say after this one. We just got to get ready for the Chargers. And then they just kind of went their separate ways. Like, I'd like to know more details of that particular conversation.
Yeah, 1-4, losing to mediocre teams. It's so we beat the Jets, and they haven't won a game yet, and we lose to the Panthers. And the Patriots beat the Bills. That was just a stab in the gut last night.
Well, watching Drake May play that way. What is he, year two? Year two, I guess,
yes,
right?
Man, year one of Vrabel. They're 5 games into year one of Vrabel. They've already beaten the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium with Drake May, and they've done something Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer have never been able to do. That's win a primetime game, but go into Buffalo and beat the Bills in their own house. Think about that. They've already surpassed the Dolphins in 5 games of the Mike Vrabel era. In 5 games.
That hurt me on the plane watching.
Yeah.
Watching a reset of one. This is Vrabel's first year.
First year.
He's already beat the Bills in Buffalo, the Super Bowl favored Bills in Buffalo, right after we lose to the Carolina Panthers that have a third grader playing quarterback.
This is why Omar Kelly keeps coming on QAM, and you guys know I love Omar, but he keeps saying no matter what happens, you win. Because if the Dolphins win a game, they win a game. But if they lose, you're one step closer to what's inevitable, which is what a lot of fans want, guys, and that's a new head coach and a new regime. And I feel strongly against that notion because this shouldn't have taken 5 games this year for the obvious. This should have been done last year. This should have been done at the end of last season, and Stephen Ross waited again too long.
Well, that's been
the obvious.
Barry Jackson in the Herald. That's like been his point for a while is, hey, Stephen Ross, can you please care more about the product you're putting out there? And I'm not telling you whether I agree with Barry Jackson or not, but he has been adamant. You can't witness what you're witnessing since you took over the team and think patience. There's a tweet. Let me get this tweet for a second. It was from Barry Jackson. I thought was interesting. This is 15 minutes of Game Day Uncensored, by the way. I'll couch it as that. 15 minutes of Game Day Uncensored. Brought to you by the Lexus TX. Room for all your passions and 3 rows of luxurious comfort. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. You can hear Game Day Uncensored with Tobin, Solana, Omar Kelly at 9 a.m. Sunday. Is there a new addition to the show, too? Did I make that up, or did you say that on the air the other day?
I think I announced it on Friday. Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. We'll have Omar. We'll have Perk. That's all happening this upcoming Sunday.
All right, cool. 9 a.m., 104.3 FM, WQAM. Let me find this tweet from Barry Jackson. He posted, patience isn't always a virtue. Kraft knew Belichick was done and dumped him. Knew Mayo was a mistake and corrected it after a year. Remember, they had Gerard Mayo for 1 season. Yeah. Knew Mayo was a mistake, corrected it after a year, and hired a coach who exudes the toughness that the Dolphins have lacked for years. And there's something to be said for that because I'm a proponent of being patient. I'm a proponent of stability is what makes organizations great. I point to the Heat with that all the time, right? The stability. Even when LeBron James was saying, hey, maybe Spo's not the guy. Remember year one? The stability for me makes an organization great. And the Marlins have not had stability. Like, you can go on and on. The Panthers finally seem to have some stability, and they're going out of their way to re-sign guys. Connor McDavid, by the way, re-signed with Edmonton today for 2 more seasons. There was some notion after the ouster that he would leave, but he is not. But Barry Jackson saying, okay, patience, not always a virtue. Sometimes you have to recognize that you're bleeding. The fans are unhappy. The product is inferior, and it ain't getting any better.
Yeah. You like the stability, Hawk, but staying married in a terrible marriage just to be stable, like stability, something like you have to be good at it. You have to be helpful. You have to be loving in that marriage. You can't just be there to be there because we've been there for 5 years. Vrabel, what he just did, and it's 5 games, but they beat the Bills in Buffalo. What Shane Steichen, this is his 3rd year, and they're one of the best teams in the AFC right now, 4-1. Like, it was 23. We always bring up 2023, 70-point game, number 1 offense, all that. It's starting to look like that was the McDaniel outlier more than what to expect.
Which is funny because I thought that was more representative of who they were going to be. I didn't think that was the outlier, but you're correct. It is the outlier.
Crowder, look how many like we can point to, and I know the circumstances are different everywhere. I'm not trying to say that, because one team had success X way, that the Dolphins can have success that same way. Look, you have to get lucky. Things have to go your way. And for the Dolphins, a lot of time, Hawk, Barry Jackson points this out, there's also a case of just a lot of unlucky bleep as well. But Crowder, the Denver Broncos, the team the Dolphins put up 70, new coach, new quarterback, they've committed to building the defense. They just beat the Eagles on the road. We've talked about the Lions how many times? Building within the trenches, going with a new coach that they trust, and now they're in a Super Bowl window. The Commanders got rid of everybody in that organization, and within 2 years, a bit of luck, they hit on the quarterback, but they put themselves in that position. Now they're Super Bowl contenders. The Patriots with Drake May, and they got their head coach and Mike Vrabel. Now they look like they're a team that at the very least is going to contend for the playoffs for the next few years. There's example after example of teams who realize we're spinning our wheels. Let's jump off early and salvage the situation. But the Dolphins never do. The Dolphins in my lifetime just wait until it's too late to get off the wagon. And you're in that position again, and you're 1-5. You have awful structure, and your contract situation is crippling. Now what?
And to bring up something Hawk said, I thought about it. When you said that Robert Kraft, he saw 1 year Jared Mayo and was like, no, that's not how it is. But Hawk, think about what he saw for the last 20. He watched what Belichick could do. He saw what great coaches do with organizations. So when Mayo came in, he said, that's not how it's done. What has Stephen Ross been looking at? Stephen Ross has seen Sperano, Philbin, Gase, Flores. He doesn't know what a good coach looks like.
He's looking, though. And he was trying to go get Tom Brady. He looked at what New England was doing, and he said, you know what? I just want to do what they're doing. Come meet me on my boat.
He wanted Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson. Seems like he knows talent when he sees it.
But the Buccaneers missed out. Or I'm sorry, the Buccaneers, after the Dolphins missed out on Tom Brady, got Tom Brady, won a Super Bowl, and since then had been perennial playoff contenders with Baker Mother bleeping Mayfield.
Yeah, but they did like. Do you attribute that to great front office acumen, or did Baker Mayfield happen to be available after they lost Tom Brady and they took a flyer on Baker Mayfield the way someone takes a flyer on Carson Wentz or Geno Smith or whatever, Sam Darnold? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Like, do you think that they had tapped Baker Mayfield as their next great quarterback, who, by the way, could be my favorite player in the NFL right now? He was so much fun yesterday to watch.
Yeah.
Again, there's some backstory video circulating on social media because he was getting into it before the game with some of the Seahawks fans, and he found them after the game to give them a little more abuse after what they witnessed out on the field. But I think I saw Peter Schrager this morning on First Take saying Baker Mayfield might be the MVP right now of the league. Might be the front runner for league MVP right now.
And Daniel Jones is right behind him. Think about that.
But again, like, do you and obviously Shane Steichen chose Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson, which I thought was not a great decision at the beginning of the season. But again, to my point, Solana, like getting Daniel Jones after he's done with the Giants, getting Baker Mayfield after he's done with Cleveland and Carolina. I don't even know if he was somewhere else after that. Like, is that great front office acumen, or are you just stumbling into something lucky?
You're right. They took a flyer on Baker. It worked. But Hawk, I think they can also look at guys they didn't take flyers on and say, you know what, that's not going to work. And I think the Buccaneers were in a situation where they're like, let's move on. New era has to start now. And that to me is as important as hitting on a flyer. Sometimes you miss on a flyer when you know it's time to turn the page. And I think that's one of the biggest shortcomings of Chris Grier and Stephen Ross more than anything, is that they don't know when to turn the page, when to flip the script and say, this is done, we must move forward.
Somebody texts in, to your point, Solana, the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson, they ate $40 million because they recognized he's not for us. We're done with him. Mm-hmm. And they're in a pretty good spot right now. Denver had a nice little comeback yesterday afternoon in the fourth quarter against Philadelphia.
It doesn't mean Denver is what you want to be. Like, I'm not saying the Dolphins should aspire to be the Denver Broncos, but wouldn't you rather not be the Miami Dolphins and be the Denver Broncos right now? Since that 70-point performance where the Dolphins beat the Broncos, look up the records between the two teams. And the Broncos are in a much better spot and have been significantly better. They're building something. The Dolphins window closed 2 years ago, and they're still like, oh, well, maybe it's still there.
But again, when you say they're building something, has Denver won a playoff game?
They beat the Eagles, and they were in the playoffs last year.
But if they won
the Eagles on the road.
No, I got you. I'm just asking if they won a playoff game, because I could make the analogy that what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Or
Sean Payton. Sean Payton and Bo Nix are on this trajectory that it looked like Mike McDaniel and Tua were on, which is they're winning games, and it looks like that, because that is the case for the beginning of the era.
Yeah. But I guess it's so much younger than our era. We're 5 years in.
No. We're beyond, I'm saying the beginning, where Bo Nix and Sean Payton are right now. I think we may have looked at, if you do it, I don't know how many games they've been together, right? Is it a full season last season?
Yeah, so 22.
Did he play the season before that? Did Bo Nix play the season before that?
Is this year 3 of Bo Nix? I thought he was
I think it's year 3 of Sean Payton, but I'm not certain it's year 3 of Bo Nix being the starter.
I thought Bo Nix was a rookie last year, and he started last year.
He started from game 1?
Yeah, remember, last year, Russ was in Pittsburgh. They jumped off the Russ train 2 seasons prior in 2023.
But hadn't they had Bo Nix on the roster that season with Russ?
No. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I believe, I'm looking it up, they drafted him last year, 12th overall, which was one of the reasons they jumped ship on Russ, because he was going to put them in better positions to win. And they're saying, no. We don't want to win. We want a better draft pick.
22 starts, 17 last year, 5 this year, 13-9.
Yeah.
And beating the defending champions.
Right. But all I would say to you is look at Tua and McDaniel 22 games in together. You might have felt the same way that you do about Peyton and Bo Nix right now.
But about Peyton is a Super Bowl champion.
Correct. He's already got the goods.
And they said he just passed, who'd he pass? Bill Parcells with wins as a head coach with the win against the Eagles. Mike McDaniel wears nice shoes on the sideline and pretty glasses.
Look good in San Fran, man.
I just
Maybe we just go out and get Debo.
if the window is closed, so you said it, Hawk. The window's closed. I believe it. I'll say it. The window's closed on this roster quarterback head coach combo. And I think Chris Greer is attached to this. What are we doing now? What are we trying to do? Get a lower draft pick?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question. For me, for my money, and I know listeners aren't going to want to hear this, I don't think Tua is a problem right now. I think you have much greater problems. I think it's McDaniel and Greer. I think Tua was pretty decent yesterday. Again, I know the final drive where you need to come back and win, even though you've already come back and won. If the defense can stop Bryce Young, Tua had a great bomb to Jalen Waddle. It was beautiful. People complain, it was short. He had to, what's the difference? Guy waltzed into the end zone. Tua on that final drive there should have been a pick on that final drive. We'd have gone bananas. Jalen Waddle actually ended up playing defense on that errant throw and was able to kind of bat it down. But I don't think Tua, for me, is like this urgent problem right now. The biggest problem with him is he can't extend a play. And you notice it when you watch other quarterbacks. You notice how they're able to extend a play even by the threat of running. That's my biggest problem with Tua right now.
I watched Bryce Young roll out to create that throw to the sideline late in the third quarter, early fourth. I watched Drake May and Josh Allen. They running around like Michael Vick.
How about the Drake May dime at the end that he probably shouldn't have even thrown? Like that was incredible.
On the move.
Yep.
Tua doesn't do anything on the move. Name all the top Bo Nix watching that game. Jalen Hurts watching that game. If we go through the league, you name all the quarterbacks that you're impressed by, they do stuff on the move. That third down sack that Tua took was Seven Yaya just ran past like he was a baby sitting in a stroller. He just balls up.
Yeah.
He doesn't even try to escape, evade, duck, spin, rip, disappears, act like, jump at him like you're going to punch him and see if he flinches. Do something. The guy comes, he balls up. 4th and 17.
He can't, though. He can't. Because even on plays where he extends the drive, Baker Mayfield is putting his shoulder down. Sam Darnold even is putting his shoulder down. And they're not afraid of getting concussed. Maybe they will, but they're not afraid of it. Tua is diving or falling short, giving himself up 3-4 yards before even the idea of getting contact on a play because he's being told to by everybody around him and because he's looking out for his livelihood, which I respect, but it's not conducive to winning a football game. It's just not.
Not even, and I'm with you too. He doesn't want to get hit. And honestly, I've argued that he shouldn't want to get hit because if he gets hit now Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson in the game, we're going to look really, really bad. They're not throwing for 350 yards. Neither one of them are throwing. We'll get beat by 20 if they were in the game. I don't think he's athletic enough right now to do what those quarterbacks, not even the fear of injury.
It's just not.
He cannot, he's not physically capable to do what Bo Nix, Drake May, Josh Allen. He can't do that.
He's talked about
which, by the way, though, is okay when you have protection and a running game. Like, it's okay to be that guy if all the other pieces fall into place. But if you're running for your life the entire time and you can't run for your life, that's a problem.
You run for your life with ankle braces and knee braces on. The only guys that can play Tua's game that have the protection too that I see, Jared Goff is not athletic at all, and Matt Stafford doesn't even try to move around.
But those guys can get hit, dude. Those guys take hits.
By the way, though, free money. Tua rushing over, hit again. Had it at over 1.5 yesterday. He had 5 yards on one little run up the middle that stopped too short, by the way. But still, he got his 5 yards.
Don't hold 5 like it's impressive. 5 yards.
5 yards. It was another green ticket in my wallet.